He doesn't know what he's talking about. He read one book. What was the name of the book? The ISIS Papers?
Yeah, the ISIS Papers.
The ISIS Papers by this like Hotep philosopher. What is it?
Frances Cresswelsing.
Yeah. So she's like, it's like pseudo black empowerment, but through like all this like pseudo science and not like real shit. You know what I mean? So it's like she's like says that like white people invented homosexuality in the black community to keep the numbers down. Like, is a type facts. Yeah,
it's a good idea.
That didn't work out, so we invented Planned Parenthood, right? Yay. So, but like, so you start to get into that kind of shit, and if you're justifying these ideologies, you're gonna get fucked up. Now, you're not gonna get any pushback if you're sitting with a guy who's next to you, Professor Griff, right, from Public Enemy, who said anti-Semitic shit for 30 years
he said
now.
something like Jews are the cause of all
Another
evil.
interesting thing with Professor Griff is that he, when he was with Public Enemy, they wrote an album called Fear of the Black Planet, which is inspired by the ISIS Papers.
Interesting, right?
So they're talking about like, oh, you know about this thing? You're inspired by this woman? I read this book. We're talking about the book, Barbershop Conversation. That then got broadcast.
They then got broadcasted out, right? So it's like you can't have. It's really because Nick is regurgitating talking points and not synthesizing his own ideas, right?
Talk to me.
If
I agree with you.
And so he's regurgitating talking points. I forget the name of the woman who wrote the book, Frances Clearly West or something like that. I think the ISIS Papers, I think, is the name of the book. But like, she makes a lot of crazy statements in it, using like pseudoscience. One being that like white people invented homosexuality in the black community to keep the numbers down, and like a lot of just other like nonsense shit, right?
A bunch of stuff you can't prove.
A bunch of stuff you can't. And one of the things Nick said is that because white people are deficient of melanin,
and exactly and specifically what racism, white supremacy is. And I say it's a power system dynamic structured and maintained by persons who classify themselves as white, whether consciously or subconsciously determined, which consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, and emotional response, as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival and preventing white genetic annihilation on planet Earth.
Okay, and once we understand that, okay, all right.
It's planet upon which the vast and overwhelming majority of people are classified as non-white by white-skinned people, and all of them are genetically dominant in terms of skin coloration compared to genetic recessive white-skinned people. Do you see? So just understanding, in other words, I don't talk about white people hating black people or people of color. No, people who classify themselves as white on planet Earth are embarked on a system of behavior that permits them to not be genetically annihilated.
Which is